Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Amodita Ahuja. I am a consultant gynecologist and a consultant at MFine Healthcare as well, and I'm a practicing gynecologist in Delhi at Akash Hospital, Malviya Nagar. So today I'll be solving all your queries which are related to periods or which are related to PCOD. So you can ask away all the questions, whatever you have related to PCOD or period related. So if you have any questions, please keep sending your questions, and slowly I'll keep taking your questions. The first question, which I think we have already collected from one of our community, is somebody has asked a question that is, my periods happen only with the help of the medicine. Is there any natural alternative remedy to it? So I would suggest that, whenever you're not getting periods on your own, that means there is some problem with your periods, with your hormones. You should get it evaluated by a gynecologist and get yourself evaluated and take the proper treatment, because if you're not getting periods, that means there is some hormonal imbalance which is happening in your body. Either it's your reproductive hormones, or it is thyroid, or it is prolactin. So if you see a gynecologist, they will be able to evaluate you properly and then give you medicine according to that. So the next question what we have now is that I am 32-year-old married woman. Since starting, my periods are always irregular. I have PCOD. Please tell me how to regularize my periods so that I can conceive. So if you already have PCOD, please get your hormones checked, get them evaluated, that how much of imbalance is there, and according to the imbalance you will be started on a proper treatment. But the first and the foremost, it is very important, if you have PCOD, the first thing you have to take care is, please take care of your lifestyle. The lifestyle includes the diet and exercise. Diet, it should be a proper diet of PCOD. That is, it should have low carbohydrates, low fats, high protein, and you should exercise every day. Please take care of your stress. Please take care of your sleeping habits. You should sleep latest by 12 o'clock and get up at 8 o'clock, so that your circadian rhythm is maintained. And when the circadian rhythm is maintained, the hormones, they come back to normal. So lifestyle is the key. And even after 6 months of lifestyle modification, if you're not able to conceive, then maybe we can help you further with the further treatment and medications. So that's about the second question. Let's continue with the questions. So the next question was that, is it common to feel shortness of breath during periods if one has anemia? Definitely yes, because when you have anemia, you will have shortness of breath, and when you're on your periods, you lose more blood, and when you lose more blood, your anemia worsens, and when anemia worsens, the shortness of breath increases more. So yes, definitely, if you have anemia, you will have shortness of breath. So the next question which has been asked is, does weight or body type affect the flow during periods? So do thin and a plump people have different volumes of bleeding? Yes, of course, every body type is very different, and if you are lean, you can have heavy periods. If you are heavy, you can have heavy periods. And even if you're lean, you can have less amount of periods also, because the fat distribution in the body is very important. If you do not have adequate fat in your body, then it will be very difficult to have irregular periods. So people who have less amount of fat, who are very thin, we advise them to gain weight to have regular periods. And people who are obese, we advise them to take less to lose weight, because even if you lose weight by 10%, your periods will become regular, your hormones will come back to normal. So this is about the weight and the body type and the period volume. The next one is, does PMS happens to every woman, and how long before periods PMS happens and can it be controlled? It's a very very nice question. I really like it because PMS is a thing which most of the people take it for granted. People think that PMS is not real and the women is just making excuses to get out of a situation, but it's not like that. PMS is real and PMS can happen from any time, from 14th day of the menstrual cycle to the first day of the next cycle. So for 14 days a woman can suffer from PMS, and if the severity of PMS is too much, then it is also known as PMDD, that is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it has been linked to a psychiatric illness. That is, if and it's why it happens is why PMS happens is because of the dip in the hormones which happens after the ovulation takes place. So PMS is very very real and it can happen, and yes, it can be controlled. If it is a very mild PMS, then you can control it with the lifestyle modification, by doing yoga, by doing exercise, by doing meditation, and by taking care of the food what you are taking. But if it is of severe grade, then you might be put on birth control pills to control your hormones, because PMS is entirely hormonal. And even after birth control pills, if it is not getting controlled, then you might need to get in touch with the psychiatrist as well, because you need to take counseling and take proper sessions with her, and then cure the PMS. So it's very very important. It's a multidisciplinary approach. So you have to meet a dietitian, a gynecologist, and a psychiatrist. Everyone together take care of the PMS and treat it. So that's about PMS. So the next question is severe period pain normal? I almost cannot get out of the bed for the first 2 days and often need to take a Meftal-Spas. So this kind of severe pain is not at all normal. If you have so much of severe pain, that is also known as dysmenorrhea. So if you have severe dysmenorrhea, you should consult a gynecologist. They will evaluate you, because you might have endometriosis, and because of which you are having severe grade of dysmenorrhea. Taking Meftal-Spas is okay because you're preventing the uterine contractions to happen. That's a good thing to take. But so much of period pain is not normal. So I would suggest that you please consult your gynecologist and get yourself evaluated. So going on to next question, what we have is how to cure PCOD, and does weight gain and hair fall happen due to PCOD? So the first and the foremost cure of PCOD is diet and exercise. So lifestyle modification is the cure for PCOD. In diet, you have to take care of your diet. In diet, you should take 1200 to 1300 kilocalories per day, and your diet should have low carbohydrates, low fats, and high protein in it. Do not do intermittent fasting. You should mostly try having food every 2 hours, so that you are not making the insulin to rise, and that's the main pathogenesis of PCOD. So it's very very important that you take care of your diet, and how much you take, the quantity you take, and at what interval you are taking. Everything is important. The second thing is exercise. You have to do an exercise which increases the heart rate of the body, like swimming, aerobics, jumping, dancing. So even if you dance for half an hour on any songs on YouTube, so that's more than enough for you to take care of your PCOD. You need not to go out, you need not to do gymming and full throttle exercises. Only full with full josh, if you dance for even half an hour, that will be more than enough. So that's about exercise. Then along with that, taking care of your sleeping habits, taking care of your mental health, your stress levels. So all these things are very important. That's the cure of PCOD, because PCOD is a lifestyle disorder and we can only treat it by correcting the lifestyle. And does weight gain and hair fall happens in PCOD? Yes. So these are one of the main symptoms of PCOD. Along with irregular periods, you might have excessive weight gain, you might have hair fall, and you also might have excessive hair growth on the sides of the angles of the face. So these are the few symptoms, and obviously you will have weight gain, you will have irregular periods. So these are the most common symptoms of PCOD. So going on to the next question, that is, I am progestin sensitive but I am also late. Taking progestin for withdrawal bleeds during makes premenstrual symptoms worsen. Any advice? So I would suggest that if you are taking progesterone for the withdrawal bleeding, that means there is some problem with your periods, with your hormones. So you should get yourself evaluated, because you shouldn't take progestin for having periods every month. You have to get your hormonal profile done, and if there is any problem with the hormones, then you have to get yourself evaluated and then accordingly take the treatment. Please do not take progesterone every now and then, and obviously it is going to worsen the premenstrual syndrome. So please do not take it, rather get yourself evaluated. So the next question we have is, I have severe pain in lower back, sides and hamstring area during periods. I can't sit, stand, walk, turn sides or bend. Please suggest a medication. So I would suggest that please don't take medications online, but I would say that please go to your gynecologist, get evaluated, because severe dysmenorrhea is not nice. You might have endometriosis, you might have fibroid uterus, you might have so many other things. So if you have so much of pain, it is always a good idea to see a gynecologist, talk to them, let them evaluate you so that they can find a proper reason for it. And the next question what we have got is, ma'am, I get lightheaded during heavy flow of the periods in the first day especially. Is this normal? Yeah, that's what I told you. Please keep yourself hydrated. Take lots and lots of liquids. Take coconut water. Take nimbu pani. Increase the intake of the salt, because if you lose blood a lot, then obviously you can become lightheaded. And it is also very, very important that if you're becoming lightheaded on your first day, that means you're bleeding a lot. So you need to get yourself evaluated for that also, that why you're bleeding so heavily, and because of that you're becoming lightheaded. So the next question what we have got is, how often should I exercise in PCOD? So exercise is at least 4 to 5 times in a week, and you should exercise at least half an hour to 45 minutes every day. And the exercise should include anything which is increasing the heart rate of your body. So it can be swimming, it can be cycling, it can be running, or it can be 10,000 steps per day, or it can be aerobics, Zumba, anything you can do. Only criteria is that it should increase your heart rate. So the next question what we have is that I'm suffering from PCOD. Why do I spot again after my cycle ends? Can this problem be treated? Yes, if you have PCOD and if you're having spotting by the end of the cycle, it's all because of hormonal imbalance what is happening. So get your day 2 test. On second day of your periods, you need to get your FSH done, LH done, fasting insulin, postprandial insulin. This is the hormonal profile of PCOD that needs to be get done. And when you get done this profile, we'll know that how much imbalance is there, and then we would like to start you on birth control pills if the hormonal imbalance is there, to correct that hormonal imbalance. So if PCOD with spotting is there, that means hormonal imbalance is major and you need to act upon it as soon as possible. So the next question what we have is, I get rash due to using too many pads as my flow stays for 5 days minimum. I am afraid to try tampons or cups. Please suggest. So if you're getting rashes with your pads, that means you're using plastic pads. I would like to tell you one thing, that plastic pads are the most hazardous thing which can ever happen to any women. If you want to use any kind of pad, it is important that you should switch over to organic pads. Don't use tampons, don't use menstrual cups if you don't like it, but please switch over to organic pads, because plastic pads secretes a chemical called dioxin, and that dioxin can cause cancer of the mouth of the uterus, and it can also cause one disease called endometriosis. And that plastic is the only reason why you are getting rashes during your periods time. So it's very important that you switch over to cotton based pads, which will take care of your personal hygiene also and will protect you from having endometriosis and cervical cancer. So it's very, very, very important. Please change your pads. So the next question what we have got is, I've got my periods only once in 11 months. Earlier it was once in 3 months. Is it a serious concern? Yes, it's a very, very serious concern. And that means you are having some hormonal imbalance. You need to get, first of all, it is very important that you should get your periods every 45 days. And if you're not getting your periods once in 45 days, it's not at all good. It's not at all healthy for you. Please take a medicine to get your periods this time, and then after that, get your hormonal profile checked after meeting a gynecologist. And once your hormonal profile is done according to the hormonal imbalance, we might start you on the further treatment. But it's not at all good. You might have severe grade of PCOD, or you might have some other hormonal imbalance, we don't know. That we'll only get to know after getting the hormonal profile done. So it's a serious concern, and please meet a gynecologist as soon as possible. Next question what we have is, if my thyroid levels are high, can I still take Dian 35? Yes, you have to take Dian 35 continuously, and along with that you need to supplement yourself with the thyroid medication. So if your thyroid levels are high, consult a physician, talk to them, and start with thyroid controlling medication, maybe thyroxine or Thyronorm, whatever according to your levels, but don't stop taking Dian 35. It's very important that you have to continue with Dian 35. So we have another question, that is it necessary to do exercise every day when you have PCOS? What food should I avoid eating? So you have to, that's what I told you, that you have to exercise at least 5 times in a week and 45 minutes in a day. That's how you should do. It's very important. Even if you're lean, if you're very, very thin, and if you have PCOD, you have to continue doing exercise. If you are obese, for weight management, definitely you have to continue doing exercise. So exercise is the main thing in PCOS. And what are the foods you should avoid? Any packaged food, refined sugar, chocolates, pastries, cakes, and anything which has lots of preservatives, trans fats in it, you have to avoid eating it. And food, what you should include in your diet: green leafy vegetables, proteins, good proteins, and omega fatty acids, salmon, anti-inflammatory foods like broccoli, capsicum, all green leafy vegetables, and other anti-inflammatory foods like cinnamon, turmeric. All these things should be part and parcel of your diet. So it's very, very important. These are the food which you should try and include in your diet as much as possible. So we have one more question, my thyroid is at 8.5 and I was suggested to not get a medicine yet but improve lifestyle and test again in 3 months. How bad is my thyroid? What is normal? So only TSH value can never suggest whether you have thyroid or not. For that I would need T3 and T4 levels also. If T3 and T4 levels are fine and TSH is 8.5, we can still wait for some time, and after lifestyle modification we can wait for 3 months. But after 3 months, if your T3, T4 levels are out of control and if your TSH is also increasing, then it's always better to start you on medication, because TSH is very important to keep your hormones under control, reproductive hormones, and to make your cycles regular. So it's very, very important. So we have one more question. Next is, my mom is 45-year-old and she has anemia, but in the last few months she has had heavy blood flow and too much of pain. Please suggest a treatment. I would suggest that you get an ultrasound done, because she might be developing some endometrial problem or some fibroids or some other problem. So it is very, very important that you get an ultrasound done, and then after the ultrasound report we can further do the treatment for her. So we have next question, is it okay to have extreme mood swings during that time of the month? Sometimes I am an emotional wreck and don't know what to do. Yes, absolutely. That's what is known as PMS, premenstrual syndrome. It's been known that, during that time of the period, you can experience 150 different kind of emotions. You can feel anxious, you can feel depressed, you can feel happy, and sometimes you're so sad. So there are, 150 different kind of emotions what you can have, 150 different kind of symptoms, from abdominal bloating to constipation to diarrhea to what all not. So it's absolutely normal, and that's what is known as PMS. That's why I tell every patient that, please exercise regularly. Even on periods you can do exercise. That's the biggest myth, that I am on my period, I am having PMS and I am not feeling well, I'm dysmenorrhea, I can't do exercise, please do mild exercise even on your periods, because it helps in secreting a good hormone called serotonin, and when serotonin is released, it is a happy hormone and it keeps your mood elevated. So it's very, very important, and it will help in controlling the PMS. So throughout your menstrual cycle, do exercise, and even during your periods, you should do exercise and take care of your diet. So we have one more question, that is, I suffer from extreme diarrhea during the first day of my periods. I can't get any food into my stomach and lose appetite too. Is it normal? Yes, it's absolutely normal, because during the time of periods there is a hormone called prostaglandin which is secreted, and when prostaglandin act on our intestines, it causes diarrhea. So it's very, very common, and then you feel bloated during the time of periods. What you can do is eat every 2 hours. Even if you're not feeling hungry, have some food, have some ice cream, you will feel good, and your bloating will also come down. Or there are certain good bacteria, healthy bacteria. If you replace your gut with the healthy bacteria, the inflammation in the gut will decrease, and that will help in reducing bloating during the periods time. So it's very, very important to supplement your body with those healthy bacteria. So next question is, hi ma'am, I'm 19-year-old virgin, and I have been having a smelly discharge lately, and few months back I was experiencing pain in my abdomen, pelvic area. I also spotted brown vaginal discharge 2 to 3 times. Are these signs of cancer? What should I do? These are not the signs of cancer at all. Maybe you're having some kind of infection. For that, you need to get yourself physically examined by the doctor at any hospital. So please go get yourself examined. It looks like that it is just some mild infection which you are suffering from. And brown vaginal discharge is very, very common after the periods. Why it happens is, suppose you are on your 4th day or 5th day of your periods and you are bleeding, the blood flow has come down, and when your blood flow has come down, the minimal amount of blood which is coming out of the uterus has to go through the acidic environment in the vagina, and because of that acid which is present in the vagina, it converts that blood into a brown color. So it's very, very important to have brown, it is very common to have brownish vaginal discharge at the end of your period, so don't worry about it at all. So it's absolutely normal, but for you maybe it is some infection, so get yourself tested at any healthcare setup. The next question is, how do I deal with acne and low self-esteem caused due to hormonal disorders? So the birth control pills which we start you on for controlling your hormonal disorders, those birth control pills are going to treat your acne, and it is going to elevate your mood also. That's why it's important that you get your hormones checked, get yourself properly treated for PCOD. Don't shy away from starting on birth control pills, because birth control pills are going to help to keep your hormones under control and will also clear away your skin. Your acne will go, your bloating will go, your self-esteem will improve, because your skin will improve drastically and your mood will improve drastically. So please, if doctor is trying to start you on birth control pills, don't shy away, and please start taking birth control if they have started you on, because it's going to keep all your hormones under control. Next question what we have is, I have only clots of blood, it's normal or not? I often have bleeding after intercourse, it gets painful at times, is it normal? Bleeding after intercourse is not at all normal. You have to get yourself examined at the hospital, because you might be having cervical erosion, or you might be having some kind of infection which needs to be treated at most. So postcoital bleeding, that is bleeding after intercourse, is not at all normal. It gets painful at times, definitely it's not normal, it's abnormal to have. Usually you do not get bleeding after having intercourse. So please get yourself evaluated, get yourself physically checked at the hospital. They will examine you, take a pap smear, take a biopsy if required, and to take out the diagnosis that what exactly you are suffering from. We have one more question, that is, I take painkillers like Naxdom for my period pain. Meftal doesn't work for me. Is it okay? So if you have such severe pain, then I would suggest that you have severe dysmenorrhea, get yourself evaluated, get an ultrasound done, get a CA 125 done. After when we know then that you do not have any problem, you do not have endometriosis, you do not have any other problem, then if you are taking Naxdom, it's okay. But Naxdom is a very high dose medication. So instead of taking Naxdom orally, I would suggest that you take something which is less harmful to your body. And for that you need to consult a gynecologist so that they will prescribe you the medication according to your weight and according to the kind of symptoms what you're having. Next question is, my facial hair growth is increasing, what can I do? Get your testosterone levels checked, and after getting the testosterone levels checked, if they are high, then we might start you on certain medications which are going to control the testosterone. And after the testosterone is controlled, the facial hair which have already appeared, we can't do anything about that. That you will need to get done removed by either by the laser or by some other treatment. But we can definitely prevent the new hair growth to come, and that new hair growth we can prevent only by controlling the testosterone. And for that there are medications available. So it's very important that you get your testosterone tested. So next question what we have is, my job needs me to travel extensively and my menstrual cycle often become irregular. My doctor said I do not have PCOD, but how to make my menses regular? I want to know, so in this scenario also I want to know that whether your hormonal profile was done or not. And because it has a lot of traveling, I'm sure you must be eating outside, your sleeping habits must be irregular, and you must not be exercising. So I would suggest lifestyle modification for you is the first most thing. Please try to carry your own food wherever you are going, and try to sleep, have a good sleep of 8 hours, and also try to take out time to exercise or to walk as much as possible. Wherever you are going, wherever you are traveling, even in your office, try to do 10,000 steps a day. So that will help to keep things under control, because I know in that busy schedule it's very difficult to find out time to do exercise also. But if you manage your exercise in this way, maybe it will help you to keep your hormones under control and also get your thyroid and prolactin levels, so that we know that besides PCOD you do not have any other reason for delayed periods. So the next question what we have is, can painful intercourse be a sign of endometriosis? Definitely. Painful intercourse is one of the first sign of endometriosis. People who have mild endometriosis, their first sign is severe dysmenorrhea, that is painful periods, and the second one what they have is severe pain at the time of intercourse. So if you have one of these symptoms, please again get yourself evaluated. Let me tell you, sometimes endometriosis cannot be picked up on ultrasound, so for that you need to get an MRI done, along with that CA-125 done, which is a blood test. And if that CA-125 is raised, then we might suspect that you have endometriosis, and the final diagnosis can only be made by doing laparoscopy. So that's about endometriosis. So if you have any of these symptoms, please consult the gynecologist as soon as possible. So we have one more question, that is how to reduce my stress. I know it messes with my cycle. So to reduce stress, exercise regularly. Exercising is very important. It helps to keep down the stress levels. Meditate, do yoga, and try for the alternative things like acupuncture, try for things like a lot of meditation. So all those things will help in reducing the stress levels and also keep your sleep cycles regular. So we have one more question, that is, in my recent full body checkup, my ESI levels came high at 19. Should I get worried? 19 is okay, and any infection anywhere in the body, even the slightest of infection, can raise the ESR. So ESR alone is not an indicator of anything, and you need not to worry about anything. So ESR is a very non-specific marker. So I think that's about all the questions. And if you have any other question, I'll be waiting for another 3-4 minutes to receive. I'll be happy to have any more questions so that we can close up the session. And guys, if you have Any questions, any queries, you can consult with me on MFine app, or I practice in Delhi at Akash Hospital. So if you have any of the queries, you can come down to the hospital or take an online consult. And also there is a PCOD self check which is happening on the MFine to know your PCOD risk, whether you are in the mild risk or in the moderate risk or severe risk. So definitely go through that self check to know what category you come into, and then you can take the further consultation with me or with any of your doctors at MFine app or in the hospital. So we have one more question, I guess. So the next question what we have is, I have abdominal pain before 2 weeks getting my periods. Is it okay or not? Yeah, that could be ovulatory pain. That is when the egg is released. There is a lot of fluid which gets accumulated in the abdominal cavity, and because of that you might have pain. So if you have that pain, it's good that you are having your regular ovulatory cycles. Abdominal pain is quite common, and that's also known as ovulatory pain. So don't worry about that. And if you have a little discomfort, you can take any antispasmodic, whatever you like. Thank you guys. So I think it's time, let's wrap up, and thank you for having me. And as I told you, if you have any queries, okay, we've got one more question. How often should I exercise if I have PCOD? I've already covered this question, but for you I'll tell it again. Please exercise at least 5 days in a week and 45 minutes to 1 hour in a day. And exercise should be something which increases your heart rate, like swimming or like jogging, or covering 10,000 steps in a day, or yoga should be a power yoga, or swimming, so all bicycling. So all these things will help in getting your hormones back to normal. So if you guys have any other questions, or if you have any sorts of queries, you can definitely consult me. You can consult me on the MFine app, and then I can solve all your queries, or you can come down to the hospital anytime whenever you need. And please don't forget to do PCOD self check. Thank you guys.